Middle Tennessee is known for a rich cultural heritage, particularly in the music and the arts. One of the key cities in the area is Murfreesboro, which has earned its nickname Bucket City. Murfreesboro is home of Middle Tennessee State University, which plays a pivotal role in fostering artistic talent and promoting music education. Bucket City Mouthwash is a podcast that focuses on the artistic community in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, and the broader Middle Tennessee region. The podcast serves as a platform to highlight the stories and projects of local artists, providing them with an opportunity to share their experiences, insights, and creative endeavors.
All right. So, Jay, can you just tell us about... All right, so we met in middle school, 6th grade. I annoyed everyone. I was like, Jay, will you be my friend? And then Jay said he would be my friend. And then I kept following Jay around. And Jay was like, you gotta stop following me around everywhere.
Yeah, it's because I was smoking a bunch of weed.
There you go. Yeah.
Well, shortly after that, I got kicked out of 8th grade. Yeah. And then we started skateboarding a lot more. This was right when the YMCA skate park was going around too. If I'm correct.
Yes, yes.
So then we'd go there.
Yeah.
It was like me, you, Andy, Blake Thompson, and like a handful of other dudes. Taylor Galford was there, Sloan, Parker Hewitt, Darren Tate, and all them. Yeah, and we'd meet up there after school. We'd get our parents to drop us off, and they would leave us there till sunset, basically.
Go get White Castles.
Hell yeah. The White Castle?
Yeah, yeah. You ever sneak into the pool across the street at the hotel?
Only every damn time.
All right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But we met then, and then like after that, basically it was more skateboarding and, experimenting with things until I guess we still hung out after that in high school. That's when everything shifts a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Did skateboarding come first or did playing music come first?
Definitely skateboarding.
Mm-hmm.
So I started whenever I was like 8. I got a Monster Zone board. And then there was a guy that left he worked for my dad. He left like a shitty like Tama drum kit there. And I was asking about it every day. So we brought it. I lived in the basement at my parents' house. So he's like, yeah, if he doesn't come back, then you can take it. And so I took it and then I put it in there, set it up, and played the dog shit out of it for like 2 years, basically every day.
Mm-hmm.
And skateboarded while I did it. You got to, be well-rounded in that whole music and skateboarding.
Yeah.
And then I met Taylor Galford and a bunch of other people, Andy and all them, and we all just started like buying music equipment with what we had and just started going from there.
Gotcha. So you met Andy pretty much through skateboarding?
We met in 8th grade, and we were kind of like, we had the same like seeny weeny like Fear Before shirts, and we were kind of standoffish and like fucking poser.
Yeah.
And then we ended up hanging out, and it was cool. And then, after that, we started actually kicking it. We got over that whole beef, and then he lived like right down the road from me. So I'd go over to his house, and his parents were like, "Oh, we like you," and I'm like, "Mm-hmm." But that was after I got like kicked out of school for smoking weed. But it was like, we would go over to Andy's house because his parents would let us stay out till midnight. And it was really funny because one of the oldest memories I have with him was like right when we first started hanging out, we got this like refrigerator box. And we would take it door to door, and then one person would hide in it, and then the other would ring the doorbell, and whenever they would open it, we would like pop out. And we scared the shit out of somebody to where they almost had a heart attack. So the police got called, and that was the end of that. They picked us up, and then they took us back to Andy's mom's house, and she was like, now, boys. They're like, conservative Christian folk. But they still rocked with me because it was like, I don't know why. Andy always dressed like a fucking Catholic church girl. So it was like, they look at me, and then they look at Andy, and they're like, why? And like, we're gonna teach him. He had a really good way of like presenting himself to people to where he was like, he had more integrity, but whenever it came down to like personal relationships, it was different. So it was really funny how that affected everything. But anyway.
So when did you was Boyfriend your first band?
No.
What was your first?
My first band was called, it was actually Thrash Biscuits.
Sweet.
Yeah, dude. Come on now. Dude, we learned 4 songs in 2 days and played in Nelson Lumpkin's house. We were 16 years old. And it was me, Andy, and Austin, and this kid named Alex Van Dorp. Shout out Alex Van Dorp. He's in Chicago. Love you, bud. But like, so we learned 3 like power violence songs. We would just go, we were really into trash talk at this point. So it was just like, and so we booked a set with Nelson Lumpkin he lived on Spring Street and he had basement shows. And we knew him from high school. So he's like, yeah, if you guys want to play, there's this band called The Clap from Atlanta and they were touring. So it was our very first show. But yeah, so we all told our parents that we were going to stay at each other's houses. And we practiced our set for like maybe 2 days. We didn't learn anything.
What did you practice?
I was playing drums. Andy was actually on guitar and he wore like a bunny. It was like a bunny hat. And Austin did vocals and Alex played bass. And then, so anyway, after that, like we prepare for the set, we go over there and we're in this basement. And somebody, I don't remember who, but like we were young, we always had ways to find liquor. So we all got like shit hammered. And we're on last. We actually headlined this. Like the Clap was like, if y'all only have 3 songs, like go ahead and play it. It was like, all right. And my sister and her boyfriend and like 15 people were there watching me just like try to play as fast as I possibly could. But the only song we nailed is that we did a trash talk cover. And it fucking ripped.
Yeah.
So shout out to everybody, Austin Campbell and Andy in this band, because y'all killed it on that. But that was my first band. Sorry, I'm yapping.
Yeah.
I'm in a yappy mood.
Yo, this is good. We got a whole hour. So,
Yeah.
did you do a lot of like, use terms like gas pedal and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Playing
You use
drums?
that technique, that pumping the gas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, back then it was like, I played a lot more drums initially. And then I got a guitar from my uncle before that. And I just had this like shitty Cort that had like a rising sun. And I would learn songs on that. And then I kind of balanced out like learning drums. I would do like drums for 6 months and then guitar to be well-rounded. So I didn't have to ask people to play music. Mm-hmm. I just kind of wanted to do it all myself.
Yeah. Drums is bass is guitar.
Yeah, John Corlew was involved in that because he was one of the people that was living with me in high school. And he was showing me how to record a bunch of music. So he's like, if you're going to do it, like, he showed me how to play drums properly because he was in drumline. And then I kind of just learned guitar through trial and error with guitar tabs and shit. But yeah, that's how it, I don't know. I wanted to be well-rounded.
Yeah.
Try to learn it all at once. So I could just sit in a hole somewhere by myself and record everything.
I always feel like when you're get good at something, like after a while, you got to like stop that thing for a second. Like with skateboarding, sometimes like I'd have to take a month off sometimes.
Yeah.
And then come back a month later. And it was like, I'd exceed way more than like, it's almost like I was pushing myself too hard, not let myself rest, which is just as important.
See, it's like, it's definitely necessary to like take a step back because whenever you do like push something too hard, it's almost counterproductive. So that's why I like kind of like alternated between learning this. Whenever I got sick of one thing, I would spend more time learning another that I didn't know. And it would just like fade into other instruments like, banjo or like fucking mandolin or bass. Bass is pretty much a guitar, but it's just root notes. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, but it takes a lot more to be a good bassist with, there's a lot more, I don't know. It takes a certain level of understanding on how to do that. You can't just play a guitar and be a good bassist either. So there's 2 different levels of understanding of like composition that you have to kind of tackle in those realms. But it was really, it was really interesting to learn each individual like take on how to do certain things from those perspectives and then apply them like try to learn all of them and then do them in unison. Whenever you try to record everything yourself, it's really hard to like cut one thing off and then think from another perspective. So I don't know, it's a challenge, but it's actually worth it if you can. If you have the time to do it, I recommend it.
Were you part of the Yeah Club?
The what?
Remember the Murfreesboro Yeah?
Oh, the Yeah Rock and Roll Camp?
Yeah.
No, I didn't do the camp, but I knew the people that ran it.
Yeah. That was a pretty big thing.
Yeah, Kelly Anderson, they had a spot on the square. It was the Yeah building where it was across from Pastimes. Is that the one you're thinking of?
Yeah, I guess it's level 3 now. Right?
No, it was across from level 3. It's where the like woods or that it's called the laboratory now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so level 3 is like right here.
It had like a recording thing upstairs, right?
Yeah.
And then it was the venue in the middle.
Yeah, Pastimes and then level 3. And then across the street on that corner, it was like kind of catty cornered right there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I went to a lot of shows there. I saw Proto Men there. Like, and Jeff the Brotherhood played at the Vine, which was on the opposite side of that.
Mm-hmm.
It's where Electric Peach is now.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so they had shows there. And that was whenever I was like 15. That was like 2007 or 8. And then the other side was like, I don't know. I think it came shortly after.
Yeah. I feel like those places were pretty big for our age.
Yeah. No, they were definitely pivotal to like everybody in that scene because we only had from like 14 on, it was like mega church and like all these like, Tyler Walker threw a bunch of shows at like mega church and all these house shows on Spring Street that we went to. And then, places where you didn't have to like, I don't know. It was like there was like the actual venues, like what we have now, and then like house show houses. And a lot of people want to do those. So if you want to see like kind of like a name band, like a bigger band, you had to go to these. But through Kelly Anderson, she was in those Darlings, so she kind of have a pull. And she started the rock and roll camp that a lot of kids do nowadays. And did a lot for this community and the Nashville community as well. But through that, being like 14 and 15 and having access to this was like insane. You know what I mean? It helps you grow up a lot whenever you, from a younger age, like seeing all this, and it changes the way you think about music.
That bridal shop across the street from the library used to have shows too, I guess. The Vine. That's what I was
the
Vine?
About. Yeah, it was called the Vine.
Okay,
that's where I saw Jeff the Brotherhood there.
So I saw Pujols.
Yeah, in Pujol.
Yep.
Daniel Pujol. It was Pujol.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Daniel Pujol. Shout out Daniel Pujol.
Yeah. I always think of the baseball player.
Yeah.
From St. Louis originally.
Yeah.
So. Yep. So, aside from playing with Andy, you played with Tron Ate My Baby? Or you played something with Hell Big, right?
I played in a band called The Utterly Impossible.
That's the one.
Mm-hmm. And that was brief. That's when House Pride was going on. Whenever Henry Daggs and I guess Dillinger and what's his name? Anderson.
Eric Anderson.
Yeah. Excuse me. So we went to a bunch of shows there. And it was I forget his name. He had a record label there. I'll come back to that. I'll remember.
Screen Door?
It wasn't Screen Door. It was the guy that actually had the name on the lease. It was actually House Pride Records.
Mm-hmm.
But the guy that had his name on the lease, I can't remember his name to save my life. So if anybody knows, then please tell me.
Who was Screen Door? I remember Screen Door Records being
Screen Door. God damn. That's actually a really good question. Because I do remember Screen Door Records. I just don't remember. Dude, I know. See. Oh, it was in Nashville. It was the drummer. Because we recorded with him. It wasn't the drummer. No, it wasn't Wes. Fuck. He was like, we recorded with him. Because they recorded Mega Juice and Scum. Come on, dudes. Come on. Damn, dude. I know. We see. All right. If you know.
You have a phone hooked up.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm gonna do like, can I call a friend? Yeah, we need a lifeline here. Like it's like, who wants to be a millionaire?
Yeah. Do a 50-50.
Yeah. But no, I didn't know anything about, like, I can't remember who ran Screen Door, but I didn't record with Scum at Screen Door, but I knew of them. Yeah. And then I went to, I played with Tennessee Scum for about 1.5 years too. I don't know. I was making my rounds through that. And that's, God, that timeline is it's so chaotic because it was just like Thrash Biscuits, some weird like fake like Rocket Town metalcore deathcore band that we played at Blake Marlowe's, and then I went to Norway for 3 months and came back, and everybody was living at Avalon or hanging out with Avalon. And I went
Commander
over there.
King?
Huh?
Do you remember Commander King?
Yeah, Commander King, Blake Marlowe. Yeah, no, that's who, whenever we started that weird deathcore band, I think we played his birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we didn't even write songs. We just went up there and did breakdowns for like 15 minutes after we smoked weed in Parker Steen's car.
Of course. As one does.
Alex Van Dorp is kind of a wiener for that. So once again, shout out Alex, because I was like, he got too scared to be a hard ass with, dude, like Commander Keen rips. But this was well before that. And it was just Blake Marlowe had a shack in the back of his parents' house. It was like right after we graduated. And we'd go over there and play music, but then he was like, I'm trying to have a show here for, I can't remember whose birthday it was. But we were like, yeah, we got a band. He's like, sick, come play. And we're like, word. And we just wanted to, it was like a bunch of moms. You know what I mean? It was like a bunch of Karens. Yeah, moms and dads are like grilling. They got the fucking, high and tights with their button-ups tucked into their khakis. Yeah. They're saying, hey, how the hell are you?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know, man. I just smoked a blunt in a fucking minivan that had 4 Memphis 12s in it, and we're about to ruin your day, basically.
Yeah. That's
yeah, so we did that. And we played 3 songs of just like, all right, what's up? I can't even remember. I think we were called Garbage Truck.
Yeah. Oh,
or no, it was called Dump Truck.
Dump Truck.
Yeah. So then that shifted into real music after that. Yeah. But everybody moved into Avalon and started taking it more seriously once we grew up a little bit, and a lot of music came out of there. A lot. Ask me a question.
Okay. I just have one. I ask you a question.
Ask me a question. Damn, I'm putting you on the spot. Yeah. I'm about to start asking you, like, where did you come from?
Where was the first house shows that you did play?
The first house show was that one on Spring Street, and then I don't know, there were several in between there. Let me think about it for a second. I think the first real one that I can actually remember was it was Spring Street, and then we actually moved into Avalon. And because we were throwing shows, we had a lot. So we had I don't know, people moved out. It was Frankie. It was called, not Frankie Avalon. It was something basement, whatever. And then we moved in, and then they started throwing more shows. So me and Austin had a spot to throw all of our music gear at. So we started playing shows there. And we started a 2-piece power violence band called Bottle Tosser. Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah, there's a video on YouTube of that. And then there was Sovereign. I don't know. There were so many fucking bands that started there.
Yeah, Ash was in Sovereign. Did you play Hasselhoff back then?
I remember, Hasselhoff was like, we always went to shows there. We never played them.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That was the first
I
one
miss
I went
Hasselhoff so much. That was like the sickest spot ever.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was really pivotal to my childhood. We went there for like, that place never died. Like, cops would show up and then they'd be like, fuck them, keep going.
I really like Hasselhoff because it was like one of the last, I feel like, house show venues that was like had open door policy. Like even if it wasn't a show, like people were partying there. Like
You can crash there.
they crashed there. We'd go there, watch Dragon Ball Z, because Parker's brought all the VHSs. Or they play beer pong on the door.
They did have beer pong. I still got some pictures and videos from that spot too. I have a little archive on a USB that I keep from those days. It's called like my little basket of memories.
Do you remember when Tristan Whitley fell through the window?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a big deal.
Yeah, there's shoot. Me, I don't know what she's called, what her name is now. I can't remember to save my life, but AKA, and this is why I'm saying it so I don't be disrespectful to them, but Michael Haynes, AKA
Graceland
Haynes. Yeah. Fuck yeah. She rips hard. We ate, I don't know, Stephen Loveless was there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
he's Wolf now. Yeah.
Yeah, if you need some quartz or if you want to get robbed. No. Yeah, sketchy. And I'll say that on camera and mic because everybody knows this already. So let's be real. But anyway, dropped. It was my birthday. I think I was like 19. And then Wolf dropped like 3 hits of acid on her tongue. And me and Graceland sat next to a tree in the backyard. And we're just like, man, they're we're tripping our ass off. And then all these cops start walking up and we're like, we see all the, we were young. Like they were like, it's like an all ages show, kind of like, there was never anybody that was older that was like, you kids can't come to this show. Mm-hmm. And they never hounded anybody about doing what they wanted to do. And I feel like that's how it is because it's like a natural part of your youth to be able to do these things so you learn. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you go to these places so nobody hounds you for them or hounds you for doing that. But it was like funny watching, like while we're just sitting there in the dark underneath this tree watching all these people scatter and we're like, damn.
Yeah.
Like if all we see is and then the cops come up to us and then they're like, never mind. We're like, they were running off. All these kids are running out. Like I guess it was like Ash, who actually lived there though.
Phil Brewley.
Phil Brewley.
Forrest Whitworth.
Forrest Whitworth lived there too.
Yeah, I got a story from Graceland. I'm going to ask them probably to put on here because there's that time they put that Reign of Terror on Murfreesboro.
Oh, yeah. I do have a crazy fucking story with Graceland.
Yeah.
Because they took me to night school in high school. Oh, my God. It was my 15th birthday. And that's when, speaking of the Vine, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this on camera or mic. I don't know if I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to punch myself in the face.
Okay.
Yeah, well, yeah. I'm having fun.
Yeah. I've had plenty of legal things said, but yeah.
We'll save that. No, we'll save it. Y'all need to censor me. Listen, I'm all for like telling everything and being like an open book, but I think some things are best for personal conversations.
For sure. Me and Lenny have already I inserted me and Lenny doing the Offspring la 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 thing over something someone was saying that I was like, wait, they might not need to know that.
Hey, I'm an open book. These are things that people already know. So it's like, I don't want to say it to for the sake of saying it.
Yeah.
So let's.
Okay.
Yeah. What else you got for me? What exactly did you want to hear about the music, the transition?
Okay. Yeah.
Is this specifically about my personal experience or is it about the community?
It's both.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I could wax poetic on that for forever.
Yeah. So I guess where you went next with music?
After Bottle Tosser, it went to I don't know, it was chaotic. Me and Austin started several bands. We started recording with Alan Walker. And it was Prodigal, I think it was called Prodigal's Son. And then I started a band called Competition Mask. which was like a solo shoegaze project. That's when I started doing my own thing, where I was playing drums and bass and guitar. And we'd go up to this warehouse and just get a 24-pack of beer. And he'd set up his MTSU recording gear. You know, whenever you do the RIM program, they give you a little bit. I think they do. I don't know if he took it or if he borrowed. Like, you can rent it. I know that. But we'd sit up there and set it up at a dock and just record all night. We made a fucking, like a vocal booth out of a reefer unit in the back of a box truck and shit. And we'd stay up all night, like, recording music. And this is on SoundCloud. That's how... I don't know if anybody uses SoundCloud anymore, but like, I think this was literally 12 years ago. Yeah. I need to get those recordings. But after that, I started playing them more. That's when Boyfriend came along. And Andy started, like, me and Andy have always, like, even those songs that he wrote on the keyboard, like, he's had those in his pocket, like, in the chamber for years before he met Ethan. So whenever I came back, he had met Ethan, and then, like, Skunkle played a show at House Pride, and they, like, I guess Jack and Ethan and Corey, like, really fucked with the scene, so they were like, damn, we want to move here and do this. Mm-hmm. And so they did. I went away, came back, and, like, all of them were there. Yeah. And so Jack and Ethan and Caitlin and Crabtree and Tugboat as well lived there for like a while. Like, there are so many people floating in and out. It was one of those houses. Yeah. They took that spot. And so Andy started dating Jack at that point. And, like, you know, he's my best friend. Like, I've known him forever. He's my best friend of all time. So it's like, I'd go over there and, like, we always hung out and played music. So they started Boyfriend, and I'd play bass for him. And then it got serious at some points, and then it didn't. Ethan was, like, learning how to play drums, and he got really good really fucking quickly. So, goddamn. Like, once again, shout out Ethan Rose for having, like,
10 bands right now?
Yeah, 15 bands, doing the most for the punk community. We'll get to that later, though. But it was like, yeah, we started that band. We started playing shows. And we did an album release at Chappie's house I guess that wasn't Chappie's. It was across the street from we played Little Hamilton. Before that, we played Little Hamilton. We started playing, like, Nashville shows. And it was really weird because, like, nobody gave a shit there unless you were, like, noise punk. You know what I mean? Yeah. And we were this, like, weird version of, we called it synth punk. Mm-hmm. But it was basically like synth pop. It was Andy pouring his heart. He could write lyrics like a motherfucker. His lyrical content is like, I'm telling you, it's like the most beautiful shit ever. If you read the shit that he wrote, it's damn good. He was kind of a weenie, and he dude, he couldn't play a keyboard to save his life, but goddamn it if he didn't learn how to do it well at that point. He played a shitty Casio. I never bought a bass for this band. Ethan was the only real, like, musician that took it seriously, and then he still fucked with us, and we all still did it somehow. But it was like, played Nashville, came back to Murfreesboro, did an album release. We recorded with Spencer Blake at his house on Lynn. And that's when he joined, like, I guess he joined, like, and did second keyboard because he has, like, a massive, this kid's like he can play a bass. You know, he's, like, classically trained. He has all the, I guess, theory. You know, he's one of those that's, like, really in the theory and, like, learning how everything, like, notes, everything that you need to know. From, like, a keyboard to a bass to a guitar. Yeah. So he can, like, hear a chord and play it while we're over here, like, what button is that, or what fret? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, I've never, still to this day, I don't learn that. But
yeah,
through that, I can still hear what you're playing. It's the same as learning a chord. Just I can hear a fret and know what you're playing.
So when did you said you played with Helvig for a brief period of time?
Yeah.
What was that like?
Oh, it was a lot of fun. It was kind of like I don't even know how to describe it, but it was really like pop garagey music. I guess. That would, I mean, if I'm wrong, they're going to grill me about this anyway, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, I had a lot of fun playing drums because I got to do some like weird shit on it. That's whenever I was experimenting with like chocolate rain. Yeah, you gotta away from the mic. This is cracking me up. But yeah, no, I played bass, or no, he played bass, and then it was Dillinger on guitar, and then Eric on guitar. And I think Eric de Torres was doing something. I don't know what the fuck he was doing, but I played drums and I got to learn how to play like, I was listening to a lot of like Terra Mellos and Hella at that point, so I got to learn different things, but they fucked with it. So, and they allowed me to experiment with that type of like time signature with their pop garage band, but it worked, and I played a couple of shows with them, and then I don't know, I kind of moved on. You know, things like they end abruptly with bands like that in that time period. So it was like there was maybe 700 bands, but they all lasted like maybe 2 or 3 months.
Yeah.
It happens. Mm-hmm. Yeah. There was a new band every other week with the same members of the previous band, if that makes any sense. Yeah.
It's one of those Wikipedia pages.
Yeah. Yeah. See, we got to have a Wikipedia page for 700 Murfreesboro bands. And I wish that would have happened, honestly. That's actually a really good idea.
Yeah. It's kind of what Atlas is doing, which is what Jake Hughes.
And, Jamie Brunson's.
And Jamie Brunson. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like
I think their thing is collaborative. Yeah. Between the two.
There's a lot. They gathered, I guess Jamie's gathered a lot of stuff. Like, it kind of blows my mind because I guess, I don't know if Jamie's from here, but like Jack and Ethan aren't. But even when they're not from here and they weren't even in that part of it, they've gathered more about this scene than what they were actually aware of through knowing and meeting people who were.
Right.
Because they're like damn near PR reps when it comes to talking to people. They got charisma out the ass, and that's awesome. Yeah. It's good to be able to talk to people and learn that stuff. You know what I mean? They're very sweet. All of them are very sweet. And I love them dearly, but it's good to see stuff like that popping out again, because I think it does need to be documented for this, from where it started and where it's come to, because it's climbing up. Like, we didn't have, I don't know, nowadays it's like we only have one, but back then we had 10, and it's like I don't know, it's quantity over quality argument. So the quality, whenever you have less, there's like, people take it more seriously. Whenever you have 7 places to play, it's always fun to have a spot. To play. So it makes it, it's like convenience is sick, because we got shut down a lot back then. But now that we have like 1 or 2 here, it's like, you know, they hold that sacred, and then they get a lot more bands like that are like heavy hitters, and you know, if there's only one spot here because of what we had, you know what I mean? So we kind of built like the old scene built the foundation for what is happening now. And there's only 1 or 2 spots. Yeah. It's Crossroads, and it used to be Graveyard, but that doesn't exist anymore.
It's like time kind of collapses, and then it, like, everything kind of.
Yeah, everybody grew up and they started playing out more, and like, I don't know, they committed to that, and they started touring. We have like these young kids that are fucking insane. Yeah. Like,
you got people that's like timelines overlap.
Yeah.
You know, Jimmy Cunningham.
Mm-hmm.
Like that.
Yeah, Jimmy. Shout out Jimmy.
Shout out Jimmy.
Yeah, Jack.
Jack.
And his, I guess, son, Alex Cunningham.
Alex Cunningham, yep.
Oh, yeah, I played in Casual Sex with Jack, dude.
There you go. Yeah.
I forgot it. See, now we're cooking.
Yeah.
Now we're cooking. See, yeah. I can't even remember bands until you tell me. Yeah, you name drop somebody. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot about this, and they will vouch for that.
Yeah,
you know, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But I'm very like.
How long were you in Casual Sects for?
Shit, it probably wasn't like 2 or 3 months.
Was it in the beginning of it, or?
Yeah, it was at the very beginning, because we played. I lived on Hamilton with Ethan, and Jack started that band. And we'd practice. That was actually Helvig's band too. Helvig plays bass.
Mm-hmm.
I played guitar. Jack plays guitar and does vocals, and then Alex Cunningham on drums. So that was another one. That was very brief. I don't know. I'm one of those people that's like, I play something and I do something, and then I'm like, I don't know. I get, and a lot of people will like hound me for this shit, but it's like I get like really the way that I live, my personal life, and my actual like music.
Mm-hmm.
Like the shit that I want to do don't always coincide. So I have to like take a step back, and I'd rather somebody else that can commit to it do it, because I work and I do manual labor. Sometimes work and fun don't always.
I feel like I have a cool idea every day.
Yeah,
but I can't do those every one of those cool ideas.
That's what I'm saying. It's like I know you have this idea, and it sucks that you can't do that because you don't have the time to, and that's a part of like growing up and shit. Is just like, I don't know, a lot of people don't get like, I guess the handouts that they need, like the money that they want to make to be able to like commit to the fun that they want to have. And it's, I don't know.
It's like you got to pick avenues. That's why Mike V just had to leave Black Flag for skateboarding again,
Yeah, you said Mike V?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, now he's in Black Flag, and
now he's out of it.
Out of all the stage divers.
Yeah. But now he
got kicked out after that?
Yep.
Good. Yeah, we all saw the video. They're like trying to go up there and give him a hug, and he's like,
oh, really?
Yeah, no, he beat the hell out of him. Like, he's over there just like punching stage divers. And I'm like, that's not very Black Flag of you.
It's pretty Black Flag. Henry Rollins did it.
Henry Rollins did it, but damn, dude, this is Mike Vallely, dude.
Yeah.
We already saw the video like 10 years ago where he beat the dog shit out of 3 people.
The article I read, it was just that
he took his shirt off.
Yeah. He's spending too much time on his career skateboarding.
Yeah. He did it skateboarding. What makes you think he's going to change whenever he's in a punk band?
Yeah.
Henry Rollins did it too, but not to that extent.
He grabbed the guy by his shirt collar and punched him repeatedly.
Yeah. All right, that's a fair point, but this was in like the 80s. This is Mike Vallely, and it's not even real Black Flag. You can't sing My War, and then somebody comes up and tries to sing with you, and you're like, oh, hell no. Yeah, give him the old Jolly Roger. Yeah, you're squaring up. Somebody just runs up there. There's like a 15-year-old that's like, wee, and he's like, oh, hell no. And he's shirtless and drunk.
Yeah. I always like to think that Mike V's a nicer guy than the CKY.
I wouldn't. I don't think I can. I don't know. I've seen too much aggro shit from that man to like. I don't know. There's a difference between Henry Rollins and Keith Morris too, though. But anyway, Keith Morris is like the dreadhead hippie white dude. It's like, listen, man, I know I'm the best music Black Flag, and we can argue this. Henry Rollins, the damaged EP, anyway, from the first 4 years. We'll talk about it. And I will argue Keith Morris is the best vocalist of Black Flag.
I do like Circle Jerks.
Circle Jerks Red. Yeah. Off. You remember Off?
Skate park.
And then Flag. I think he was in Flag too, wasn't he?
Yep. Yeah.
Off. He did Off after that.
So it's Black Flag and Flag.
Yeah, there were two.
Greg Jando and Greg Jan managed Black Flag with Mike V.
Yeah.
And then Flag is
Keith
Morris. Yeah.
And then he had Off before that, where he did like some. He even got like the original. I forget the name of the artist that did the Black Flag artwork. What's his name, dude? It's not. It's like not Randy. I almost said Randy Newman. Yeah, the Apple. Yeah. Fuck. God, I can't remember every name ever.
Black Flag played one of the Muddy Roots, didn't they?
Bummer.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
Fucking.
Hey, listen, I saw the Adolescents last year, and I was like,
come to
damn.
Murfreesboro for fucking
Listen,
Jay.
I cried. Oh, dude. I cried.
All right.
I'm like, bummer, man. What do you got, like fucking... Yeah, you got Robo. And Greg Ginn, whatever. I don't know. I saw the Adolescents at Muddy Roots, and I was like so fucking amped because that was like my favorite skate punk band of all time.
Yeah.
And I get up there and like the guy looks like Ozzy Osbourne, but he's like half his age. And I love it because he's still got the same vocals. And I was like, yeah. Dude, they played Rip It Up and I fucking cried.
Nice.
Straight up. And they were like, did they play Amoeba? I'm over there singing every lyric. Fuck with the Kids of the Black Hole, like the whole 9. Dude, I fuck with the Adolescents, but it was kind of weird because they kind of looked like bar rock dudes.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, who's this bar rock band? I thought I was at the Burrow for a second.
Yeah.
I was like, hell yeah, here's like a cover of like, I don't know, Led Zeppelin's Stairway at the end of it. But no, it was a great set, and I fuck with Adolescents. Shout out Adolescents.
Shout out.
Is this a therapy couch? Do I need to get me a pillow? I think it's perfect, man. Yeah, you're damn right. It's a church view.
I guess it happened. So I watched Fear the year before, and it was like he always sounded like he was gargling rocks, but now it sounds like he's having a trouble gargling rocks.
Dude, he's had trouble for years. This man he's still doing it. And it's like, it's so sick to see all these old bands that we not really grew up with, but we grew up listening to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I grew up with Henry Rollins. I know him from like 3rd grade. It's not like that, no. But no, it's cool that Muddy Roots does that stuff, and they still get all these older bands. And I think it's great because a lot of the younger crew, I went this past year, and it's like all the people that I saw were like, you know, they're like these young kids, but they have such great taste in music. You know what I mean? That we had whenever we were younger, and they're discovering all this shit like Jay Retard and fucking Crazy Spirit and getting into D-Beat and stuff. And it's like, damn, you guys are fucking cool from like a younger age. And they're like my kids. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's so cool seeing like that it cycles through. And then they have a platform where it's like, I guess Milton's daughter, Scarlett, plays in a bunch of bands with the people from Crossroads, and they like hook them up. You know, it's like this, it's a networking thing. And then they give them this platform to be able to showcase it through that. And I think it's great. Like they need that because these kids rip way harder than whatever the fuck we had back then.
Yeah.
Whenever we're drinking like 16 bottles of liquor and trying our hand at like playing Power Violence, you know, there were only a select few that actually like put in half the effort that they do now because they don't do those things. And it's crazy to see like how like committed and like responsible they are even in that community with, you know, having nothing. Yeah. So yeah. I would like to say shout out Crossroads to them. I'm shouting out everything within a 1/4 mile radius. Shout out Dietz for doing audio. Yeah. You within a 1/4 mile, don't forget it. Yeah. You within a 1/4 foot, bud.
Yeah.
I want to rip on that for a bit if I could.
What is it?
Like the Crossroads community and like
sure.
How pivotal that is, and like how it transitioned from Avalon to Eagle, and then getting like it's like a quote unquote brick and mortar for that community because Eagle Street was so small, you couldn't do half the shows or have half that pull in that. And through Ethan Rose and, you know, even Sue before that, it's like Ethan and Sue, like, you know, like they kind of battled with that and like, you know, what they wanted to have it be. And then it's like, you know, they both did a lot for it. And then, you know, Trenzalore did a lot for the hardcore community. That was, I don't know how brief. I think it was maybe like 1.5 years or 2. And then Ethan came in and they basically did the same thing. But then they had these like, I don't know what the fuck, like picking up, I guess, through like, you know, taking it more, having more integrity with it and like taking it more seriously and like putting in the effort with the time that they had to do the things for like to provide for that community. You have no idea. Like, I've heard countless stories of this. And it's like, I don't even know where to start, honestly. Because, like, dude, whatever they're doing right now is, like, stupid. Like, fucking legendary. Like, I've been staying there for 2 months, and I've seen, like, just for that 2 months, like, people are traveling that they don't even know. And they're fucking crashing on the couch next to me, and they're like, we don't know who they are. I'm like, I don't either. And so, like, we wake up and then we go outside at 9 a.m. and I'm talking to them, and they're like telling me all these crazy stories about, like, oh, this fucking house is legendary. It's like we're friends with this person, like Lay or Scar or Seth, and like they see all the videos, and Drew the Drifter, like whatever, like these kids are so young and they're doing a lot. Like Drew the Drifter is on fucking like Goodbye Boozy, putting out records, like pumping out music every week. Fucking Lay has been in like Deprive. Ethan's in like Torsion. You know what I mean? Like, it's whenever they all live together, they're pulling all this like Torsion, fucking, Black Market, Kidney Surgeon. Like they committed to that. And it's like, through like all the videos that they get whenever they all live together, and they get all these videos and pictures from like Chase a Bite and like other, a slight few others, and then they push it all out because they attract that crowd, like even myself and like, everybody from out of town. It's crazy seeing how they like travel from like different cities and states to just come see it, and they feel weird about it. It's crazy. Because I've heard 3 different stories even in the past 2 months from people who, like, Ethan and nobody of these people knew him, but they just literally showed up and crashed there. Yeah. And that's fucking respectable that they don't care. Like, if you need a place to crash, like, they don't care. They're like, just, you know how it is? It's like, punks is punks. Like, you know what to do. Like, come in here. If you need a place to sleep, go the fuck to sleep. You sleep outside, you got to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I love that about them, and like how like welcoming they can, like that they are, and how like not even myself, but with everybody, and the things that they do and how much they're pushing out and how much effort they throw into that community and what they're doing for it. Even with like the Muddy Roots Crossroads thing with like Milton and Delane, like they cross paths. They're getting a bunch of big names at that house, and that's what like set that shit off, and it's fucking crazy, and it's beautiful to like watch it, especially in a town like Murfreesboro, because back then this wasn't anything. Yeah, they're making it. They're putting this place on the fucking map. Not only that, but like this guy over here, fucking Twin Oak Recordings, has been doing this shit for almost 30 or 35 years. 25, okay, maybe a little over. Yeah, Twin Oak. I know whenever you recorded Psyopus and Tony Danza, and it's like, we have our old heads that actually set the bar too. But for this, like this portion of it, this is what I'm talking about specifically. But you definitely did that too. So thank you for that too. You've done a lot too.
Yeah.
If I could give I'm not trying to disrespect anybody, but I want to give everybody credit where it's due.
Yeah.
And it's definitely fair, because I'm just an observer, and I've just been in like the median of it.
Yeah. And you'll tell them if they suck too.
Yeah, no, I'm not scared. Yeah.
You hear that, Henry?
I'm not here to do that though. But I've made it very aware. You know who you are. You can look me right here in the eye. Now zoom in. Do give me a crash zoom.
You're gonna get an invite to the Rollins podcast in Nashville.
Yeah. I'll see you all in hell, but I'll be checking IDs.
Yeah.
But yeah. I don't know. I like riffing on them because I appreciate them. I want to tell them on the record too.
Yeah.
That what they've done for me for the past 2 months, y'all fucking rip. Thank you, Seth, Scar, Lexi, Ethan, and Samari, and everybody that let me crash there.
And you're jamming
my
with
ass.
Seth and Scar.
Huh?
You sent me some music.
Oh yeah,
Seth
no,
and Scar.
yeah, no. We recorded a couple of songs. I don't know how serious that is, but I'm trying to push them to do it because I gave, I've been trying to like, me and Seth work the Amigo guitar show, and from then it's like,
I know Seth really wants like a skate punk
Yeah.
like a band or a scene, or like there's, I think because the skate park's been open, we're going to get more of an overlap between skateboarders and punks. Like, although those things like skateboarding is why I got into punk, you know, same with you, I guess, you know, like, but like, it's not that way for everybody. Now it seems like it's going to like.
No, it's still coming back because now that we have a place to do it, they do have shows there too, though.
Yeah. At the skate park?
Yeah, the Spinal Fluid played there the other day with a few others. I can't remember exactly.
Oh,
yeah.
shit.
I don't know if it was like a guerrilla show, but they still throw those too.
Yeah.
And it's, I don't know, it's really interesting seeing how that, like, you know, that correlation between like skateboarding and punk is still like, you know, people are doing like a bunch of D-beat bands, and that came full circle where they're getting like Discharge.
Who's a Spinal Fluid? You're the Spinal Fluid, right?
I play drums for him currently, but it's like, I don't know, I'm a fill-in drummer. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Spinal Fluid is Samari, Doc, Noah, and Reggie. See, this I just met these people, so I don't like I said, see, you put me on the spot, I'm like,
yeah,
damn, all 10 of us. You know what I mean? But yeah, no, they rip too. I don't even know where else to go from here. There's so many bands that I've seen that I love.
Mm-hmm.
They're all really good. They're 10 times better and they were younger whenever they started these bands. It's crazy.
Yeah.
They really like committed to doing that. And it's like, shit, it's fucking crazy hearing it.
Yeah. It's crazy seeing like a lot of like people who grow up, what they're doing, like the ones who have moved out of Murfreesboro too, you know.
Yeah, Austin Kemple.
Yeah. Taylor's like running a bike shop, I think, or
Taylor
Gibbs. Something like that.
I don't know what Taylor. We're gonna have to omit this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't know.
We don't know.
Taylor, we were in the Suez. Yeah, see, after that it was the Suez.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we don't talk about that though.
We don't.
Hey, can we omit this? But I gotta tell you a story. This is a good story. No, I'm not gonna tell the story. Okay, 5 minutes. All right, let's wrap it up. What do you want to hear? What's the final question that's going to be the heavy hitter?
Where are we going?
Where are we going with it?
Yeah.
Oh, with the scene?
Yes.
Or the music?
Yes.
I don't know. I think it's pretty much set. Like, we're on a very... Dude, it's like a freight train. Mm-hmm. No ends. Like, it's going somewhere. And a lot of the people, including Dietz and the people, you know, the scene has built itself over the years. Mm. And they put Murfreesboro on the map. Yeah. And if I could shout out everybody, I would do it right now. Yeah. I'm not shouting. I'm not going to be like, shout out. But it's like, I don't know. There's a ton of people in this community that have put in the effort to put this place on the map, because Nashville is 30 miles away. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a lot of people in Nashville that are doing the same thing at double the rate, but for a smaller town like this to be able to like have, like get the same opportunity as a big city is a huge thing.
Yeah.
And I think that's great because of the people that we have here. And it's like, from here, I think it's, you know, we're climbing a ladder swiftly at an exponential rate. And I can't wait. I'm really excited to see where it goes.
Yeah.
On out. And I think you are too.
Yeah.
And I think you are too. Yeah. I think we're going to be something great. And we're going to make it more of a name brand than Kroger. You know what I'm saying?
Bigger than
Murfreesboro
Kroger.
Is no longer Great Value. Yeah,
not
we're
Shop
arguing.
And Save or Schnucks.
Yeah, we're punching up, but God damn it, dude, we're gonna be punching down here soon.
You know what I mean? Shop and Save and Schnucks.
Yeah, yeah. Murfreesboro going corporate on the music scene.
Right.
Don't worry, guys.
Do you have any advice for you want to send out? Huh?
Oh, advice.
Yeah,
for any and everybody.
Any and everybody. Young and old.
Young and old.
Able and not able.
No.
Because
I don't tell people how to live. Hey, listen to. Hey,
there we go.
Hey, if you want like a Murfreesboro speedball, go get you a fucking veggie lo mein and one of them 24-ounce Red Bulls, and then tell me how your heart feels.
There we go.
Yeah. Yeah, here's my advice. Eat lo mein and drink Red Bull.
Nice.
What the hell have I done? Yeah, and then drink coffee and eat a lot of melatonin.
That is what I did last night, pretty much. The other way around. I drank a
That's
I
what I
drank a
do.
Red Bull at the Burrow and turned around. And
Yeah, you get you a French
Lenny
press
gave me
with a straw
melatonin. Yeah.
attachment. Get you a metal straw into the French press. Well, advice-wise, like seriously, I don't know, just keep progressing. Keep doing what you're doing. I think it's pretty much like it's a staple right now, and it's pretty much concrete. And I think everybody's on the same wavelength right now. I've seen a lot of growth in the past 5 years, and I think it's going to keep crawling from there. With the community that we have now, it's actually insane seeing it. So I'm really proud of what everybody's accomplished and what it's going to be. Makes me proud to say that I'm in Murfreesboro as opposed to the shit talking that we had several years ago. But
Yeah.
I'm proud of everybody in the community and what they do, and I love them dearly. So you know who you are forever and always.
Peace.
Yeah, podcast out.
Podcast out. All right. Yeah.